Hello, my name is Max and I'm working on an auto battler using Bevy engine and Rust language. It's a very unique auto battler, and by the way, I just released a video where I explain what makes it so different, so check it out. So anyway, this week, and when I say week, it actually spent like more than a month. First 3 days were at the end of September and the next 3 days were at the beginning of November, but anyway. So on the first day I was working on the save system for the ladders that I will need for the further multiplayer that I will be developing. And so I basically needed to save a bunch of levels and keep the player's progression among them. I was looking at different Bevy assets for that, but they were all kind of not what I needed. A lot of them like saved entity states and stuff, and this really not what I wanted. I just needed to save some data, and basically I ended up using the persistent key value storage, which worked just perfectly. And then I was working on my ladder. So basically ladder is just a bunch of levels, a bunch of teams basically, and enemy teams. And this will be the base for my multiplayer that I will be making, and I plan to make a video where I explain all about how it will work, because I think I have came up with a really fun system. So when that was done, I needed to finish my gameplay loop. So basically I have a shop phase and a battle phase, and I needed player to be able to move between them, basically buy some heroes, finish a battle, and then go back to the shop and buy some more heroes up until the player dies, or the player team is defeated. And so for that I needed a battle over panel. I also added some UIs, and so yeah, that was very quick because I used eGUI, which is very simple to use and very easy to design stuff. So I made a simple panel and it just works. And so next I needed to do my weakest opponent generation, which is when the player finishes all the levels, I want to generate new enemy team that defeats this player's team. And this is basically main gameplay mechanic that I had in the previous iteration on the gang engine. And this is the main kind of thing for the multiplayer, which I will go in details in the next video. And so with that, day one was done. The next day I was mostly working on ideas for what heroes to add next. I've added a couple of heroes and that was pretty much it. Next day I've added 2 more heroes, and I also worked on a better way to launch the game from like the specific initial state. And then more than a month later I came back and I started working on my curve VFX. So I basically needed a way to show a curve between, for example, 2 heroes, because right now I couldn't really show any interactions between heroes. So if like one hero applies a buff or makes a distant attack to another unit, I needed just a way to show a line and to maybe customize and animate it in the future, but for now I just needed to show a single curve, which I did by generating a mesh of triangles, and I used Bevy's Bezier functions, so it was pretty easy. But it still took me 2 days to figure out, so I was finishing on the second day, and by the end everything was working. And then at the end I raided a guy who is making a thing called Spacetime DB, which is basically a server and a database all in one, and it has really cool concepts. So the guy explained to me a little bit about it, and I was like, damn, sounds like the perfect thing I need right now for my multiplayer, because I needed something really simple, and this kind of makes you have all the code, all the logic for the server, the database, like all in one. So yeah, I decided this is what I'm gonna do the next day. And so the next day I was basically reading up on how space-time TV works, what it's all about, and just trying to run it in like the simplest way locally. Which I did. It took me the whole day, but I got some kind of a grasp on it and decided to call it a day. So I already have a lot of ideas about what I want to do next. I'm gonna work on visuals. I really want to make the game look and feel a lot better. I want to add music. This is what I'm gonna do like the very next day. And yeah, I basically want to make something playable very soon. And then ultimately work on multiplayer, which should be kinda easy. I already have like all the components I need. And so yeah, I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching.